There's so much good that comes with technology, but it's not all good, and it's not all certainly easy either.
Navigating through the digital age can be complicated ethically, and sometimes it's not even clear what's right.
Here to compute this, Thor Schrock from Schrock Innovations. Good to see you, Thor.
Hi,
Good to see
Thor.
you guys. How you doing? So we're talking ethical issues. What type of ethical issues are we talking about when it comes to technology?
All right. Well, first off, you remember maybe it was when I was a kid. I don't know. The would you rather jokes. Like, would you rather do this really unpleasant thing or this really ridiculous thing?
Right.
And you had to like try to rationalize what. So you totally stole my thunder because today is National Would You Rather Day.
What?
No, it's not.
Oh man, we have some of these national days. I don't know where they come up with
I
some
would
of this
believe
stuff.
it. Like where your brother would say, would you rather do this or that? And he's like,
Would
oh,
you rather slide down a
said
razor
she
blade
did
into a barrel of iodine or
Right.
Eat a bag of ants.
yeah, something like that.
So what does that mean in technology and some of the innovations
Yeah.
that we're seeing right now?
Let's take autonomous cars, for example.
Okay.
Let's say you're driving along in your autonomous car. I won't say the kind of brand. It's just driving along, having a great time. And then suddenly some stupid human is driving a Mack truck right at you. You have buildings on your right, there's people behind you. To your left, there's another lane of traffic and then a cliff. Well, you're going to get killed by this truck. Now, your car is driving. So the question is, does the car take the hit and kill you, or does it try to move into the left lane, which pushes a school bus full of children off the cliff?
Jeez. Right, but I mean, those are decisions
That's a
you have to
real
think about.
ethical dilemma. I mean, so in other words, you remember, you guys saw iRobot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the laws of robotics from iRobot, those are actually the laws of robotics. Those are real proposed laws that actually exist. Law number 1 is that a robot can't kill a human or harm a human through action or inaction. But what happens when a robot or a vehicle has to choose between 2 different groups of humans?
Right.
Which one works? So MIT did a study, and they said, okay, let's interview people. And let's put them in one scenario and then another scenario and see how their answers change. So the scenario where they're driving the car, overwhelmingly, protect my bacon. This car is my car, it keeps me safe. Sorry kids, have a good life, as short as it's going to be, and you're going off the cliff.
So the scenario you gave us is the one MIT used.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically,
Was there an option to go right? Or do
There's a
you have
building
to-
there.
There's a building. Okay,
you're going to die.
Can't go right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll die. You hit the
Okay.
building. So yeah, it's one of those impossible things. So in the scenario where you're driving the car, the overwhelming response was save my bacon, keep me safe. Sorry, kids. Now, if they were not driving the car, this answer changed. It was do what's the greatest good. So okay, that's an interesting ethical dilemma, the greatest good. So a school bus full of children versus one life versus many lives, you save one life or many lives. What if the person in the autonomous car is like Donald Trump? Does that change the equation? If he's like president or something, does that change the equation? So it's a huge ethical debate. So one of the things that we're going to start seeing in technology are these odd ethical dilemmas. And guess who's going to have to set the rules? The
Robots.
government.
Oh.
The robots. Well,
The robots.
we'll get to Terminator in a second, okay? The killing machines are coming. Just be patient.
But government, which takes
It's
right
national killing machine.
where
The
everybody
lawmakers.
gets so frustrated with inaction in Washington D.C. and there's so much like argument about even things that are like this big. So this stuff it seems impossible. But what do you do when it's not even clear what's right?
That's the problem. So, for example, the very first automotive accident that has ever occurred in human history was between the only 2 cars in one town. There were 2 vehicles in town, and somehow they managed to hit each other. And so it's like, who decided we drive on the right side of the road? Who decided there's a red light, a green light, then the yellow light came later because, obviously people don't notice the red and the yellow or the red and the green right away. So who made these decisions that this is how we, yield to the person on your right? Who decided that? And so just like with those things that happened over time through regulation, basically, and, common courtesy, this is going to happen with autonomous vehicles too as these autonomous vehicles come onto the scene. Now, normally this is something we're like, in the future, somewhere down the road.
But it's here.
But no, it's actually,
happening.
Uber has cars on the road right now that are autonomous. Now, they still have a human in the car, and by law, the cars are required to have a steering wheel and pedals.
And don't you have to have your hands on the wheel? There are sensors that sort of say you're alert,
Well,
you're
when you
ready.
think about the autonomous Tesla accidents, the driver was watching Harry Potter when the Navy SEAL guy that got killed, he was watching Harry Potter when his car flipped over. So, I mean, it's, yes, you're supposed to be there and you're supposed to be paying attention, but it's an autonomous car that works 95% of the time, right?
We're focusing so much on cars right now. I'm thinking about drones. I'm thinking about our devices. I mean, this whole subject of ethics and technology relates to everything, not just vehicles, doesn't it?
It does. Now imagine a scenario where, so I have a 23andMe account, and 23andMe is a place you spit in the tube and you send it in, and they analyze your DNA. And they used to tell you all this interesting stuff. Then the FDA got involved and told them they couldn't tell you anything about your health. Now they can just tell you, how much Neanderthal you are, basically. I'm a very low percentage Neanderthal.
Good for you.
Just throwing that in the mix.
Good.
Yeah, forehead's pretty short. But
You're bragging about that. That's awesome.
yes. So you can take your raw data, though, and you can upload it to a website called Prometheus. And Prometheus will analyze it and tell you all these traits. Now, 23andMe is owned by a relative of the guy who owns Google. So imagine a scenario in life now where, same scenario, you're in the car, the kids are in the bus, but we can look at your genetic profile and we know you've only got 5 years left anyway.
Oh my
Does
gosh.
that change the equation?
Yeah,
so yeah,
crazy. That's like
the
Hollywood
questions
stuff.
that were
whole
coming.
Can of worms. And we,
Yeah.
I hate to change the topic. We're running out of time here, but we discussed preventive maintenance checkups last Monday. How's that sale going right now?
Well, it's going so well. I didn't bring you any other sales. Notice today we didn't say anything about Schrock because we are busy, but it's a good busy. It's one of those things. We got a week to go on the sale. You can call in and get your preventative maintenance checkup certificate if you don't want to come in right now.
Half off.
But it's half off. Yeah.
Yeah, right now, and it's like
Last
a
one of the year.
lunar eclipse. So I was going to say it hardly ever happens. So when it does, you got to get on it, and you can take advantage of that sale at any of the 3 locations that we just showed you.
It's National Preventative Maintenance Checkup Day.
That's right. Every day.
I'm so amused by you, Thor. Thank you.
Thanks, Thor.
Yes,
Good
you're
to
going
see
to
you.
slap me when the
So-
cameras are off.
No.
I
She would
wouldn't
never
do
do that.
I did threaten to punch a guest last week,
Close
though.
fist, probably. So you're single and ready to mingle. Don't let under